They see the strength of most people are not broke because they lack opportunity. They're broke because they've been programmed for lack. See, the battle for wealth is not fought in the marketplace, it's fought in the mind. And until you rewire the way you think, you will keep producing the same results, no matter how hard you work. Wealth begins on the inside long before it manifests on the outside, and your identity is the very core of that beginning. Every action you take, every decision you make, every risk you do or don't take, these are all reflections of the identity you've accepted for yourself. The problem is most people are living with an identity they never consciously chose. It was given to them, shaped by parents, teachers, society, even past mistakes. And without even realizing it, they accepted a label that determined their financial ceiling. They began to operate according to a script that says, I'm just the kind of person who gets by. And because that's the role they believe they've been assigned, they play it with precision. When you see yourself as a struggler, even when opportunity comes knocking, you will unconsciously sabotage it. You'll talk yourself out of taking the leap. You'll say things like, that's not for me, or I'm not ready yet, or I could never do that. And here's the hard truth. Those aren't statements of fact. They are statements of identity. They are the voice of the inner thermostat telling you, this is not who we are. You can't outperform your identity for long. You can try, you can push, you can grind, but if your inner picture of yourself is small, it will always pull you back to match it. That's why if you want to create wealth, you have to begin by upgrading who you are in your own mind, not just upgrading your bank account, upgrading your self-concept. This is not about arrogance. They see the strength of it's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about uncovering who you really are beneath the limitations you've been carrying. Your creator didn't design you for average, but life may have convinced you to settle there. It's time to consciously choose a new identity, one that aligns with your potential instead of your past. Start by asking yourself a powerful question. Who would I be if I believed was my natural state? Most people never even dare to ask that because the moment they do, their brain starts pulling up every reason why it's not true. Old failures, limited education, debt, wrong environment. But understand this, your brain is only up what it's familiar with, not what's possible. That's why rewiring your mind requires intentional repetition of a new identity until it becomes familiar. When you keep seeing yourself as a person of value, as someone who creates solutions, as someone who attracts opportunity, you start making decisions that align with that identity. You start to act like it's true, and action is the proof your brain needs to rewire. Think of a thermostat in your home. If you set it to 70 degrees and the temperature drops to 65, the heater kicks in until it's back to 70. If the temperature rises to 75, the air conditioner brings it down. Your identity works the same way. If your financial setting is your $40,000, you might temporarily make $60,000 through a lucky break, but you'll find a way to bring it back down and match your setting. That could look like overspending, poor investments, or procrastination on the next big move. On the other hand, if your financial thermostat is set for abundance, even a setback won't keep you down. You'll rise back up to your setting because it's who you are. The process of upgrading your identity starts with immersing yourself in a different environment. If you keep surrounding yourself with people who see wealth as impossible, you'll reinforce your old setting. But if you spend time with people who treat wealth as normal, you'll start to normalize it too. Their conversations, habits, and beliefs will challenge your old defaults. This isn't just about networking. It's about recalibrating your sense of what's normal for you. You must also change the way you speak about yourself. The words, I am, are some of the most powerful in the human language because whatever follows them begins to program your subconscious. If you constantly say, I'm broke, or I'm bad with money, you are affirming an identity that guarantees financial struggle. Begin replacing those declarations with ones that affirm your capacity. I am resourceful. I am disciplined. I am a creator of value. I am a steward of wealth. At first, it might feel like lying, but it's not lying, it's leading. You're leading your mind into a new reality. This is also why gratitude is so powerful. The gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. When you're thankful for the resources you have, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are already blessed, already favored, already operating from a position of increase. That state of being will cause you to make better decisions because you are no longer acting out of desperation. Desperation makes you shrink. Identity rooted in abundance makes you expand. Upgrading your identity also requires breaking the mental association between wealth and greed or guilt. If deep down you believe that being wealthy makes you a bad person or that you have to take from others to get more, you'll never allow yourself to rise financially. Your subconscious will block you because it wants to protect your self-image as a good person. The truth is, wealth simply amplifies who you already are. If you are generous when you have little, you will be even more generous when you have much. By choosing to see wealth as a tool for impact, you remove the inner conflict that holds so many people back. Ultimately, wealth is not just something you have, it's something you embody. When upgrade your identity to match the level of wealth you desire, you stop chasing it and start attracting it. You will find yourself thinking differently, speaking differently, moving differently. You will recognize opportunities faster because they fit the person you now believe yourself to be. And perhaps most importantly, you will finally stop living from the limitations of your history and start living from the vision of your destiny. Scarcity is not a bank account balance. Scarcity is a belief system, and it lives in the mind long before it shows up in your finances. Most people who operate from scarcity don't even realize they're doing it because scarcity has been disguised as caution, responsibility, or being realistic. But at its core, scarcity says there's not enough money, not enough opportunity, not enough time, and not enough room for you to win without someone else losing. And when you see the world through that lens, you automatically shrink your vision and limit your actions. You play small because you believe there's only a small piece of the pie available to you, and you don't want to risk losing even that. The danger with scarcity thinking is that it becomes self-fulfilling. If you believe resources are limited, you behave in ways that ensure you never find more. You avoid investing in yourself because you're afraid to lose what you have. You hesitate to launch a business idea because you're afraid the market is too crowded. You undercharge for your work because you're afraid clients will walk away if you ask for more. Every decision is rooted in the fear of loss. They see the strength, and fear is a terrible compass for wealth creation. Fear makes you focus keeping what's in your hand instead of multiplying it. Fear makes you cling to certainty instead of pursuing possibility. Abundance, on the other hand, operates from a completely different foundation. Abundance says there is more than enough, not just enough to meet your needs, but enough to expand your life and the lives of others. It says wealth is not a fixed pie, it's an oven, and if you know how to use it, you can bake as many pies as you want. Abundance doesn't ignore reality, it simply chooses to see potential as greater than limitation. And here's the thing, when you see the world through the lens of abundance, you start to notice opportunities that were invisible before. Your creativity expands because you're no longer asking, how do I survive? But how can I create more? A shifting from scarcity to abundance is not about positive thinking alone. It's about changing your operating system. That means you start asking better questions. Instead of asking, they see the strength it doesn't work. You ask, what needs to happen for this to work? Instead of asking, how do I save more pennies? You ask, how do I increase my value so more dollars flow to me? The quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers, and scarcity-based questions will always produce scarcity-based answers. Abundance-based questions open the door to new strategies, partnerships, and innovations. One of the most powerful ways to break free from scarcity is to stop seeing life as a zero-sum game. Scarcity says, if they win, I lose. Abundance says, if they win, it shows it's possible for me too. This one shift eliminates jealousy, envy, and comparison because you no longer see other people's success as a threat. You start to celebrate it as evidence that success is possible in the environment you share. That mindset puts you in alignment with collaboration instead of competition, and collaboration multiplies opportunities. Language also plays a critical role. Listen to the way you talk about money. If your conversations are dominated by words like too expensive, I can't afford it, or I wish I could, you're reinforcing scarcity without realizing it. Abundance doesn't deny the current facts, it reframes them. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, abundance asks, how can I afford it? That small shift moves you from a closed mindset to an open one. Your brain goes to work on solutions instead of rehearsing limitations. Generosity is another powerful abundance trigger. Scarcity says, I can't give because I don't have enough. Abundance says, I give because I know there's more coming. When you give, not recklessly, intentionally, you send a signal to yourself that you operate in an endless flow of resources. You start to see yourself as a conduit rather than a container, and conduits never run dry because their very purpose is to keep the flow moving. This act of giving doesn't just impact your mindset, it influences the way others see you. People trust and want to work with those who operate from generosity, and trust is the most valuable currency in any marketplace. The environment you place yourself in also determines whether scarcity or abundance dominates your thinking. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain at how bad the economy is, how impossible it is to get ahead, and how everything is rigged against them, you will naturally begin to adopt those beliefs. But when you spend time with people who are creating, building, and expanding, you start to absorb their sense of possibility. They talk differently, they think differently. They see the difference rubs off on you until abundance starts to feel natural. Shifting into abundance doesn't mean you ignore wise planning or pretend there are no challenges. It means you choose to see every challenge as an invitation to innovate. It means you trust that your ability to create value is greater than any temporary shortage. They see the strength of it means you stop measuring life by what's in your right now and start measuring it by the potential you tap into when you fully engage your creativity, resourcefulness, and Trading your time for money is one of the most limiting financial habits anyone can have. It's a mindset trap that keeps people stuck in a cycle of effort without freedom. And it's why so many hardworking people never seem to break through to true wealth. When you sell your time, you are exchanging a finite resource, your hours, for income. The problem is, time is the one thing you can never get more of. Everyone has exactly 24 hours in a day, and once those hours are gone, they're gone forever. So if your income depends on how many hours you can work, your earnings will always be capped by the limits of your schedule. Most jobs and traditional careers operate on this principle. You work a set number of hours and receive a paycheck in return. It's simple and straightforward, but it's also the poorest way to earn wealth because it ties your financial freedom directly to your availability. If you get sick, you don't get paid. If you take a vacation, your income stops. If the company downsizes, that you lose your paycheck. This is the definition of vulnerability. No matter how hard you work, you cannot escape the trade-off between your time and money. To rewire your mind for wealth, you must break free from this exchange and start thinking in terms of value creation. Value creation means focusing on what you deliver and the problems you solve rather than the hours you put in. When you sell value, your earning potential becomes virtually unlimited because value is not bound by time. For example, if you develop a product that helps thousands of people save time or improve their lives, you can be paid for that value repeatedly without working extra hours. That is how wealth multiplies, by leveraging your efforts to reach beyond the clock. One of the keys to this shift is asking yourself, how can I solve bigger problems for more people? Because the bigger the problem you solve, the more people you help, the greater your ability to command higher fees or scale your income streams. When you focus on solving significant problems, you move away from the idea of charging for time and toward charging for outcomes. Outcomes have much higher value, and clients or customers are willing to pay more when they see clear, tangible results. Another way to escape the time for money trap is to develop systems that work for you. Systems allow you to create processes that generate income independently of your direct involvement. Think of an online course, a book, or an app. These are all examples of systems that can generate revenue even when you're not actively working. The first step is to identify repetitive tasks or services you provide and package them into scalable formats. This doesn't happen overnight. It requires planning, investment, and learning. But once in place, these systems create income streams that don't require constant time input. Partnerships and delegation are also crucial. If you see the strength, if you do everything yourself, you remain limited by your own capacity. But when you partner with others who have complementary skills, you multiply what you can accomplish. Delegating tasks that don't require your unique expertise frees you to focus on high-value activities. This creates a leverage effect where your time is spent only on things that truly move the needle in your business or career. It's not about being busy, it's about being effective. One of the mental hurdles to overcome in this shift is the belief that working more hours proves your worth or commitment. Many people wear business like a badge of honor, equating long hours with success. But wealth is not a measure of how tired you are. Wealth is a measure of how much value you create and how smartly you manage your resources, including your time. Working smarter, not harder, is the mantra of those who understand the difference between trading time and creating wealth. Pricing is another powerful lever. When you base your income on hourly rates, you limit your potential earnings. But when you price based on results or packages, you open the door to earning multiples of what you would make hourly. This requires confidence in your value and the ability to communicate it effectively. Clients want outcomes, not hours. Learning to sell on results changes everything because it places your worth in the impact you make rather than the minutes you clock. Investing in your skills is essential for this transition. The more skilled and knowledgeable you become, the more value you can deliver. As your expertise, so does your ability to command premium pricing. But this growth is intentional. It requires a commitment to continuous learning, mentorship, and practicing new ways of thinking. The old model of showing up and punching a clock is no longer enough to create lasting wealth. Finally, mindset is everything in this process. You must believe that you are worthy of wealth beyond your hourly wage. You must see yourself as a creator of value, not just a provider of labor. This shift doesn't happen automatically. It takes time and intentional effort to reprogram your thinking from scarcity and limitation to possibility and expansion. But once your mind is rewired, your actions will follow, and your income will no longer be chained to the clock. This is how you move from being a laborer to becoming a wealth creator. This is how you build financial freedom that lasts beyond hours you can work. This is the mindset that multiplies money instead of dividing it into tiny increments of time. This is the foundation for building wealth that grows while you sleep, travels, and lives the life you've always dreamed of. The language you use shapes your reality more than most people realize. Words are not just sounds or symbols. They are powerful tools that influence how you think, feel, and act. When it comes to wealth, the way you talk about money and success either builds you up or tears you down. People who build wealth consistently speak a different language than those who struggle financially. They understand that to change their financial situation, They must first change the words they use and the stories they tell themselves. When you listen closely to conversations around money, you'll notice patterns. Those stuck in financial struggle often speak in terms of lack. Words like can't afford, too expensive, a debt, and worry. Their vocabulary is rooted in limitation and fear. This language reinforces scarcity because it keeps their minds focused on what they don't have and they can't do. Every time you say, I can't afford, that your subconscious hears, and there is not enough, and it begins to act accordingly, shutting down creativity and closing doors to opportunity. On the other hand, those who are financially successful speak the language of opportunity and growth. Their conversations include words like investment, cash flow, equity, assets, and return. These words are not just fancy jargon. They are mental signals that align their thinking with building and expanding wealth. They are focused on what can be created and multiplied rather than what must be conserved or avoided. This language primes their minds to notice opportunities, to think strategically, and to take calculated risks. Changing your language means paying attention to the stories you tell yourself. If your internal dialogue is full of limiting beliefs, I'm not good with money, I don't deserve to be wealthy, or it's too late for me, then those stories become your reality. Your brain accepts these statements as truths and will seek out evidence to prove them right. This is why affirmations and positive declarations are so powerful. They help rewrite your mental script. When you repeat statements like, I am a good steward of money, or money flows to me easily, you're reprogramming your subconscious to support wealth, not resist it. But it's not enough to change only your internal dialogue. You must also shift the way you speak about money with others. Conversations have energy. When you complain about money or express doubt, you lower your own vibration and signal to others that you don't believe in your own financial potential. Conversely, when you speak confidently about investments, business ideas, or financial goals, you attract like-minded people and opportunities. Your words create a network of support and resources that can propel you forward. Mastering the language of also means learning the terminology that wealthy people use and understanding its meaning. Words like assets and liabilities are more than accounting terms. They are concepts that guide financial decisions. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. When you grasp these distinctions, you begin to see your spending and investments differently. This knowledge empowers you to make smarter choices and to build wealth intentionally rather than by accident. Another critical part of this language shift is how you frame your goals. Saying, I want to make more money is vague and unfocused. Wealthy individuals set clear financial targets and speak in specific terms. I will increase my cash flow by 20% in the next 6 months, or I will acquire 3 new income producing assets this year. Specific language creates clarity, which directs action. The mind can't pursue what it doesn't clearly see. It's also important to recognize that language shapes your confidence. When you speak with certainty about your financial journey, you convince not only others, but yourself. This confidence opens doors. People are drawn to certainty because it signals competence and trustworthiness. Whether you're pitching a business idea, negotiating a raise, or discussing investment opportunities, the words you choose and the tone you use can make the difference between success and rejection. In addition, wealthy people use language that reflects stewardship rather than entitlement. They speak about money as a tool to create impact, build legacy, and serve others. This mindset fuels purpose-driven wealth, which is more sustainable and fulfilling. When you shift your language from I need to, I want to give, elevate your financial conversations to a higher level. This perspective attracts not only money, but respect and influence. You can start changing your language today by becoming aware of the words and phrases you use around money. Begin to catch yourself when you slip into scarcity talk and consciously replace those thoughts and statements with abundance-focused alternatives. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a strategic rewiring of your mental pathways. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and soon your new language will reflect a new reality. Remember, your mind believes what you tell it most. If you consistently speak in the language of wealth, your mind will start looking for ways to make it real. If you keep repeating scarcity language, your mind will find ways to keep you limited. Your words are the architects of your financial future, so choose them wisely and intentionally. Your mindset is the soil in which your financial life grows, and investing in self-transformation is like enriching that soil to yield a bountiful harvest. Wealth doesn't come from luck or chance. It comes from deliberate growth and change inside you. When you commit to transforming yourself, your skills, knowledge, and mindset, you create the foundation for lasting wealth. This investment is often overlooked because it doesn't show immediate results like a paycheck, but it is the most important investment you can make. Without it, every external effort becomes limited by the size of your internal capacity. Many people focus solely on earning without realizing that their biggest asset is themselves. You are the CEO of your own life, and just like any CEO invests in leadership, training, strategy, and systems, You must invest in your personal development. This means reading books, attending seminars, finding mentors, and learning new skills that align with your goals. The more you grow, the more value you can create, and value is the currency of wealth. If you want more money, you have to become more money worthy. One of the biggest barriers to investing in self-transformation is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. But transformation happens on the edge of discomfort. When you stay in familiar patterns, your growth stagnates. When you push yourself to learn something new or challenge old beliefs, you expand your capacity. That expansion doesn't just help you earn more, it changes how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Mentorship is one of the fastest ways to accelerate your self-transformation. Finding someone who has walked the path before you and learning from their experience saves you years of trial and error. A good mentor not only provides knowledge, but also models mindset and behavior. They challenge your limiting beliefs and hold you accountable to higher standards. Investing time and sometimes money into mentorship pays off exponentially because it rewires your thinking and opens doors to opportunities you wouldn't have discovered alone. Continuous learning is another pillar of self-transformation. The world is changing rapidly, and what worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. To stay relevant and valuable, you must commit to lifelong learning. This could be technical skills related to your profession, soft skills like communication and leadership, or mindset training to overcome fears and build confidence. The habit of learning creates momentum and positions you as someone who adapts and thrives, which attracts wealth and opportunity. Investing in your mindset is equally important. Wealthy people don't just think different, they behave differently. They cultivate beliefs that support abundance, resilience, and growth. This often requires unlearning old mental patterns that keep you stuck in scarcity or self-doubt. Techniques such as visualization, affirmations, journaling, and meditation can help reprogram your subconscious mind. The more consistent you are in feeding your mind with empowering beliefs, the stronger your wealth-building foundation becomes. Another aspect of self-transformation is emotional intelligence, understanding and managing your emotions, and effectively interacting with others. Emotional intelligence allows you to navigate challenges without being derailed by fear or frustration. It improves relationships, which are key to business and financial growth. People want to work with those who are emotionally stable and communicative. By investing in this area, you increase your influence and ability to lead, which are vital for wealth creation. Physical health is also a critical part of self-transformation that often gets overlooked. Your body is your vehicle for success, and without good health, sustaining high performance becomes difficult. Investing in nutrition, exercise, and rest enhances your energy and focus, allowing you to tackle challenges with clarity and persistence. When your body feels strong, your mind performs better, and your decisions improve. Wealth requires stamina, and your health is directly tied to your ability to create and sustain it. Self-transformation isn't just about acquiring new things, about shedding what no longer serves you. This means letting go of limiting beliefs, toxic habits, negative relationships, and anything that drains your energy or distracts you from your goals. It requires honest self-assessment and the courage to make changes that may feel uncomfortable at first. But by clearing space in your life, you create room for growth and new possibilities to enter. Consistency is the secret sauce in all of this. Investing in yourself isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. Small daily actions compound over time into massive results. Reading a few pages each day, practicing a new skill regularly, engaging in reflective practices, or seeking feedback consistently keeps you moving forward. Wealthy people understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint, and their investment in self-transformation is what sustains their journey. In addition, surround yourself with people who support your growth. Your environment influences your mindset more than you realize. When you invest in self-transformation, it's important to also invest in relationships that inspire, challenge, and uplift you. Being around growth-minded individuals creates a feedback loop of motivation and accountability. It helps you stay committed and pushes you to new heights. Ultimately, the willing to invest in yourself is the dividing line between those who struggle financially and those who create lasting wealth. External circumstances may vary, but the internal commitment to growth is what produces real transformation. The more you become the person capable of wealth, the more naturally wealth flows to you. This is the foundation upon which all other financial success is built. Discipline is the bridge between your financial goals and the reality of wealth. Without it, intentions remain just wishes and dreams fade into frustration. Many people believe talent or luck is the secret to financial success, but the truth is that discipline is the common denominator in the lives of all wealthy individuals. It's the ability to consistently take the right actions even when motivation wanes or obstacles arise. They see the strength of the discipline on course you when temptations try to pull you away. Financial discipline means more than just saving money or budgeting. It's about creating habits that align with your long-term vision. It means developing control over your impulses so that short-term gratification doesn't sabotage your future. The world is full of opportunities to spend money on things that don't build wealth. Gadgets, entertainment, or quick fixes that bring momentary pleasure but no lasting value. Discipline helps you say no to these distractions and yes to investments in your future, whether that's education, business ventures, or assets that generate income. One key aspect of discipline is consistency. Wealth isn't built overnight. It's built day to day, decision by decision. The discipline to show up every day, to put in the work, and to make smart financial choices adds up over time. It's the compound effect in action. Small disciplined steps, like setting aside a portion of your income, tracking your expenses, or learning new financial skills, may seem insignificant individually, but their cumulative impact is enormous. Without discipline, it's easy to fall back into old habits and lose progress. Accountability plays a critical role in maintaining discipline. When you hold yourself accountable, you create a personal commitment that's hard to break. This might mean setting clear financial goals with deadlines, sharing your plans with a trusted friend or mentor, or regularly reviewing your progress. Accountability creates structure and urgency, making it less likely that you'll procrastinate or stray off course. It also provides motivation during times when enthusiasm fades, reminding you why you started in the first place. Another dimension of financial discipline is the ability to delay gratification. This skill separates those who accumulate wealth from those who live paycheck to paycheck. Delaying gratification means resisting the temptation to spend impulsively and instead choosing to invest in your future. It requires patience and vision, understanding that a little sacrifice today can lead to freedom and abundance tomorrow. This mindset transforms how you view money, shifting from consumption to creation. Discipline also extends to managing risk wisely. Building wealth involves taking calculated risks, but discipline keeps those risks within reason. It means doing the necessary research, diversifying your investments, and avoiding get-rich-quick schemes. Discipline helps you stick to your financial plan even when the market fluctuates or when others are panicking. It keeps your emotions in check and your focus steady, which are essential qualities for long-term success. Time management is another form of discipline that impacts your financial life. How you allocate your hours directly affects your ability to learn, earn, and grow. Disciplined time management means prioritizing activities that add value, like working on your skills, networking, or planning your finances over distractions and non-productive habits. Wealthy individuals guard their time fiercely because they know it's the most precious resource they have. They design their days intentionally, ensuring their actions align with their goals. Budgeting is often viewed as restrictive, but when approached with discipline, it becomes a powerful tool for freedom. A disciplined budget doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means controlling your money instead of money control you. It's about setting boundaries on spending and allocating funds to what matters most. Discipline in budgeting means regularly reviewing your finances, adjusting as needed, and staying committed to your plan even when temptations arise. Developing discipline also involves mastering your mindset. Financial discipline isn't just about external behaviors. It's about cultivating inner strength and resilience. There will be setbacks, temptations, and moments of doubt, but discipline helps you persevere. It's the mental muscle that keeps you aligned with your values and your vision, even when circumstances challenge you. The stronger your discipline, the less power outside influences have over your decisions. Building discipline takes practice and patience. It won't happen overnight, and you will face resistance from old habits and external pressures. The key is to start small and build momentum. Set realistic goals and create daily routines that reinforce disciplined behavior. Celebrate small victories to stay motivated, and be forgiving with yourself when you slip, then get back on track immediately. Over time, discipline becomes second nature, and your financial habits transform from a struggle into a natural rhythm. Finally, the discipline in wealth building is about commit to your future self. Every disciplined choice you make is a gift to the person you will become. It's an investment in your freedom, security, and legacy. The path to wealth is rarely glamorous or easy, but it is always rewarding for those who commit to the discipline required. This commitment shapes your character, your habits, and ultimately the life you live.